and welcome to IGN Anime Club, episode 65. Yay, anime!
Yay, anime!
Yay, anime.
I'm your host, Miranda Sanchez, and joining me today is Megan Sullivan.
Hi, guys.
Mike Mamone.
Hey.
And James Faulkner.
Hi.
Whoa.
Hello.
Your return.
After
a very long time.
A very, very long time. Probably since last year?
Yeah, it's been at least a year.
Post-Tokyo last year?
Last time we were watching
OG.
Shirobako, or no?
No,
it was way before that.
Steins Gate? I don't
Wait,
remember.
Yeah.
When Shirobako first came out?
No.
No, but, I mean, probably.
The watch party thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
If you're new to the show, this is IGN's anime show. We talk about a bunch of anime, and today we're going to talk about TGS, Tokyo. Me and James were just there. We got back 2 days ago, and we're real tired.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm awake. I was up at 3 a.m.
Yeah. I was doing the like, I think we talked about it last year, the micro sleeps where you're like sitting up straight and then your like eyes droop a little bit and then your whole full body goes like, and you go to sleep for like half a second and your body's like, well, no, you can't do that.
A little freak out. It's
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, I'm at my desk. Please, no one take a picture of me while I'm sleeping.
No one pull Vince on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, like sometimes Vince and Janita will sleep at his desk. He'll fall asleep because he's so exhausted from working, and so people will sneak by, take pictures, and then put him up.
There are a couple.
There's a few people.
Well, there's a few people in the
there's
office.
a
few
Yeah. people?
You
Okay.
can find those threads on my Twitter and a bunch of other people's Twitter of us just posting all the photos.
So don't fall asleep at work.
Yeah.
Is the moral of the story.
Yeah. So before we get started, we want to actually give a really cool shout out to an event that's going to be happening in celebration of IGN, our 20th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. Happy birthday, IGN!
Yay! So Saturday, October 15th at the Village in San Francisco, we're going to have a live event where you guys can come join us. We have tickets online right now. It's 20 rsofgaming.eventbrite.com. And you can buy tickets there and you can meet us. We will be there hanging out. So please come hang out with
I
us.
won't be there, actually.
Oh, no.
Mike.
I have a wedding to go to.
Okay.
Another wedding?
That's a good excuse.
Well, the
I know,
cute
but it's
one
like, oh man,
has
20
a thing to
years?
do.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of games. There's going to be food. There's going to be
Well, I
some
hope you all have
panels.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can also get an access tour of IGN on the Friday, October 14th. If you can make it out, then we have a Q&A panel. We all have gaming stations, and then of course we have the actual full event where it's like the live shows and like we said they have food
Yeah.
and cool stuff going on. So
Sweet.
if you can make it out,
I will be there on Friday
Yes.
because
You
I have
see?
to work.
yeah.
So if you want to meet the awesome Mike Mamone, you got to at least be there Friday. Come on.
Yeah. So if you're going,
just watch me work.
If you get tickets, please let us know because we'd really like to see you, and we want to get some good yay animes.
Yes,
Our
please.
last house party, we had some surprise yay animes, and I was really happy.
It was great. You guys are the best. You guys are so sweet and supportive.
Anyway, so let's get into what we're watching lately, because this is about anime. We want to talk about our anime.
Yep.
We're watching. So James and I had the unique situation of not being able to really watch anything because
Yeah.
we were in Japan.
You were like surrounded by anime, but not of anime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
we watched random stuff on TV that
Yeah.
was like just on.
Parasyte was on at one point.
Really?
Yeah. So if you've never looked into how anime airs in Japan, it's usually really late at night, which is kind of
Oh.
strange. Yeah. So
I,
it's, like, on the weekends.
I think they do it because they want kids to do their homework first or something. Like there was, I read this somewhere. Like there was a whole strategy as to why it airs at certain times.
Everyone goes to school, then goes to cram school, and then goes home, and then can watch a bunch of anime. Yeah.
So every time I got back from Tokyo Game Show or like a really long day of reporting and stuff, we always had time to catch up some stuff. Like it depended on the hotel too, because not every hotel we stayed at had like good channels.
Yeah.
So I also caught up on, what did I see?
ReZero.
ReZero.
We finished ReZero while we were
watched
there.
that.
Yeah.
I saw Love Live, and I saw, I forget whatever else it was. One of the, I think B Project, one of the Idol shows. So I watched that, but it's like a Christmas episode. I was just like, this is the wrong time.
Yeah.
Too early.
Reruns.
But yeah, so we watched that, and then of course when I got back, I caught up on Mob Psycho 100 and cried.
Well, it's very
That
emotional.
was
cried so
a
much.
really good episode.
Mob 100.
Guys, if you're not watching it, you're messing up.
Yes. A, it's by the creator of One Punch Man, and B, it's really deep. Like you think it's going to be a monster of the week, and it's not.
Yeah, like if you like the silliness of One Punch Man and that action and that high voltage energy that you get, take all that and like do a little extra, and you got Mob Psycho 100. It captures like emotion super well, which I didn't think was going to happen. It's really funny. It's beautifully animated. Like absolutely check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah. So if you want a show about like the responsibilities of power, you know, what happens when you repress your emotions too much, you know, it's all about fitting in and trying to be popular when you should really just be yourself and family.
Yikes.
No
It's a
spoilers,
really good show.
but I'm just saying. Wow. Anyways, yes. Could I ask, does Sports Illustrated NFL Crunch Course count as an anime? Because that was like one of the things I watched over the
Sure,
weekend.
yeah.
So we used to have this on VHS tape back in the day, and my brother found this on YouTube. But if you're an NFL fan and you want to see some crazy illegal hits in football from before they outlawed all this stuff, like wrestling moves on the field.
I mean, yeah, people are still getting injured though, which is the truth.
They are, but people should have died with these moves.
Yeah.
Face masking was totally illegal.
Was it like people spearing and stuff like that?
People were spearing, clotheslining, Hulk Hogan boot to the face. So if you want to see,
do you remember the XFL? Remember when that was a thing?
yes, I do, because I watched it because I was one of those idiots.
Yeah, if you didn't know what the XFL is, it was a thing started by Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
of them
of course.
of trying to make their own football league that had like
sports entertainment, weird stuff.
Oh
going
god, it was really bad. Anyway, this isn't. I mean, it's kind of anime because wrestling is kind of anime. But
I'm trying to think if I actually watched any real anime over the weekend. I caught up with Amanchu as well, which is just the sweetest anime. It's about diving, but it's really about friendship. It's great. It's super chill.
I need to catch up on that. It's so sweet.
Amanchu?
Yeah, Amanchu. It's super cute. What have you been watching, Mike?
I caught up with 91 Days. And yeah, no, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
you dropped it like what, episode 7 or something?
I dropped it. Well, I actually watched a couple of more episodes because people are like, "No, it's a really great anime. You got to keep going." So I watched up to like episode 9, and I was like, it has that potential. It reminds me of Gangsta. It has so much potential, but it loses.
Like as soon as you said that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad. Like Gangsta really went off the rails and off budget, but like 91 Days doesn't quite do that. But there's something about it that is not quite connecting with me.
No, I agree. Yeah, like it's like it was a little bit convoluted for me, and kind of almost typical in terms of how the story got laid out.
Yeah.
And so moments where I thought should have been like intriguing and exciting didn't hit it for me. You know what I mean? But yeah, it has the potential because, you know, anime based in the Prohibition times.
Which isn't something that we see a lot. And it's more seinen, it's more adult. So you're like, oh, this could be really good. But
yeah, it's
Gotta get landed execution.
Yep, it's all about the execution.
Yeah, the biggest thing that actually hit with me for that one is probably like the most recent episode. So it took that long for me to actually like go, oh, yeah.
What kept you going through all the episodes? Was there like some part that interested you but like the rest of it was kind of bad, or is it just like it was just like guilt watching? Like, oh god, okay.
Now I gotta finish
it was a little bit, yeah, that too. It's the soul. I mean, mainly it was because we're working on this feature, and I needed to catch up with anime. Okay. So, but it was interesting enough. Or hoping for it to get better was the main reason why I was watching it. Okay. And it took a while to get there. So I thought it was okay. So that's when I was watching recently. I'm actually starting to watch Ajin. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Ajin, yeah.
Ajin. It's on Netflix, if you have Netflix. And it's about this kid who, I mean, this is literally in the first episode. He's an Ajin, which is not a human. And they don't die.
He's
I guess
kind of a monster.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out. Like, I'm on episode 3, and I'm still trying to figure out what an Ajin is actually.
I got to like episode 5 because I was like binging it one night and haven't had a chance to catch up. But it's cool. It's the CGI that you get used to, kind of thing too.
I was about to say it didn't turn me off actually, as like the first episode did.
Yeah,
because I was like, what? Who are these people? And then, but then as the protagonist comes in, and then everyone else starts to the rest of the supporting cast shows up, it actually starts to look pretty good. Honestly, for
used to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things. They're also going to start the second season in fall, so very soon. But since it's on Netflix, I'm just assuming we won't get it till at least winter.
Oh,
season starts.
That's true.
That's true.
Because Netflix like holds everything, so like that's what problem you're having with like Kuromukuro, because like we're like, oh, this came out last season, but it came out this season for us, so we're covering it as part of this season because we couldn't, legally get it. So
yeah, I didn't think about that.
Like, thanks, Netflix.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
So that's why I was watching. So I can watch season 2, but now it seems like it's not going to happen.
So who else finished 3-0?
I'm still catching up. I'm still enjoying it. But did it finish? Did it wrap
It's
up?
done.
Okay, it is
It's
finished.
done.
All right.
And we will absolutely have a spoiler cast. Like, there's no way.
Oh,
we
totally.
can't.
Also-
I'm gonna. Okay.
So James, you watched the end of ReZero?
I did watch the end of ReZero.
So did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's one of the shows that I kept up with this season.
all right. What do you think?
It was good, but you also know that there's going to be more, which is which is why they wrap it up, but they don't really wrap it up. There's a million loose ends, and you're like, okay, well, I guess we're waiting like 2 years for another season.
Yeah, hopefully this won't be like another Attack on Titan. Like, I don't know how far the light novels are ahead. I saw them when I was in Japan. I actually bought a few, but I don't know if there's enough for them to go ahead and jump into a second season. I know White Rabbit, the studio that did it, is working on something else next. So it's not like they're going to turn this around immediately. But I'm assuming, like, with the popularity, hopefully we'll get it soon enough.
I'm still surprised there wasn't more like merchandise in Japan for it, though.
So yeah, we were just complaining.
Yeah.
A minute ago how like there is no ReZero things anywhere.
We saw, like, I think 2 pre-orders in a couple different stores for some different.
like Rem, then Android,
Yeah.
and I think there was something else.
But like compared to what we saw with Love Live last year, and like
I guess I see the difference of like Love Live because it's more of an established brand that has maybe
Sure.
more backing monetarily. But even there is some like Survamp stuff and some other things that seem to have like more things out there. Whereas I hardly saw anything for ReZero, so I was like really, really sad.
Aw.
I saw Rem on a cafe sign.
yeah, that was like our first day, and then
Hey,
we,
there you go.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, oh Rem, there you are.
and we saw stuff in the airport as we were leaving. There's really 2 places that we saw stuff.
Yeah, aside from like the original light novels or the manga, the only products we saw for ReZero were in the airport. So it was really weird. But I know Crunchyroll has some stuff on their web store because they've actually been like kind of manufacturing and producing their own anime goods, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I was sad that I didn't see more. I wanted like a keychain or something.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait a little longer before
Yeah.
ReZero merch.
Yeah. So maybe next year we'll see more or something. But
It's
yeah,
gonna be real good.
we'll
Yep.
have our big ReZero discussion soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
soon.
I also watched Orange. That one I hung out with. I like the most recent 2 episodes. Like, it's kind of getting to the end of this show, so things are picking up, of course.
Okay.
The animation is still kind of wonky every now and then, but it's like a little bit better than that. I forget episode is like 8 or 9. It was atrocious. Like,
Man.
Actually,
I
you just
hate the
reminded me.
shenanigans.
You reminded me, actually, 91 Days had a recap episode.
Yes, it did. I thought the same thing
So
that you
that's-
did when they had a
Yeah, I
recap
was like,
episode.
oh,
and then
no.
they did like one episode that's like 2 parts as well. And I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh.
So that's good that Orange didn't do anything like that.
yeah, I mean, well,
Maybe they should
one of
have,
the most
though.
recent ones was kind of like one, but not really. Like, half
Okay.
of it was like almost a recap, but not quite, because it added like a little bit of perspective from somebody else.
Okay.
So that made it like passable. But
I don't know how recap episodes are still
A thing?
not the thing that are acceptable anymore. Like there's ways that I know sometimes you have to do them because there's like production delays, and there's ways that you can do them pretty creatively. I think it was Kill la Kill did it pretty creatively.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it was half an episode too. Like,
Yeah.
if it's like half the episode, I don't feel so bad about it. But if it's the full episode of recap, it's just like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch this.
I
Yeah.
don't wanna
Exactly.
watch
Yeah.
this.
It's weird because I know some shows even delay. They don't
Yeah.
even air
Yeah.
that week.
I'd much rather that.
Exactly.
I'd much rather you just focus on the next episode than having to produce a half-at.
Yeah.
yeah. Who knows what that's actually like though? Like if we say,
Yeah.
oh yeah, well this should just delay. It's like, well, we don't know like the
Yeah,
Exactly
the
what it means.
contracts.
the con-
Yeah.
If they have like this promised slot, then like what is the TV station going to fill that with?
Mm-hmm.
Because they already have this in and like advertisers and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
as easy as it's for us to say,
Yeah.
I know.
True.
Yeah.
there's all that. Well,
Yeah.
we will have more about what we've been watching in our favorites from the season next episode and what we're looking forward to, and then for the next anime season. But until then, you can actually catch up a cool feature on IGN right now that we all produced. The top 5 or the 5 best anime of the summer season. So
Yes.
Yes.
That is live right now on the site. Go watch it. Go read it. Go do both.
Yeah. So, like doing those is always really hard because we have to separate ourselves from being like what we personally had just fun with versus like what we actually think is the best offerings that came out of this season. So I hope you guys will go check it out and let us know what you guys
Yes.
liked
Yes.
this season. And moving on, we got a little weird tidbits of Ghost in the Shell.
Very
The
weird.
movie.
I know.
The movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
The live action movie.
Yeah. each of the little like vignettes, I think, of like probably stuff that they shot, and they didn't seem finished. Like the effects didn't seem finished. I mean, a lot of it was practical, but like there was a shot of Kusanagi sitting on a bed, like, and you can see part of the city behind her,
right?
And that looked like a matte painting. That wasn't a good matte painting. It just looked like someone had badly CG'd, like comped in a city behind her.
I'm kind of glad they showed that scene, but in particular, I'm disappointed by the quality. Like I was hoping it would look a lot more futuristic or whatever.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see, because we didn't really see her outside at all.
No,
like all
no.
the scenes were
Yeah.
inside or in smaller rooms or like very deliberately small places, probably. And I think a big unveil of that, like, or one of the things that I really love about Ghost in the Shell was the aesthetic of the city.
Yep.
And so I
Very
really hope that whenever they do the big unveiling for that, it'll be something really
I
great.
was kind of hoping for a shot of the city. You have those very iconic shots in the original movie, and I was hoping for that, but they don't quite have it yet. And I don't know if they're going to do it CGI. They're actually do any practical effects. I hope they do some practical effects.
Yeah, and it seems like they're pulling from pretty much all the different series and movies.
Right, so we were talking this beforehand, and I've only seen the first Ghost in the Shell movie, the original.
Same.
And so whenever I saw this, there was some stuff in it that I didn't quite... I was like, this wasn't there. And then you were saying some stuff that came from like Standalone Complex and stuff.
Yeah, they were talking about the geisha, and like it's either that or Rise. I forget exactly which it was, but like the geisha stuff, I haven't seen the movie in a long time. But like there's stuff that they're pulling from different ones, but the shot of Kusanagi and I don't know the other character's name. It's the bald character. Means I think that they're pulling her relationship stuff from the movie itself, because at least in Standalone Complex, she has a heterosexual relationship with a guy. In the movies, it's implied that, or it's not even implied. She is gay in the movies.
Well, so in the original movie, the whole point at the end with the one other female character was the. I can't remember the villain quote unquote's name, but it's like it was beyond gender at that point.
Yes.
So it was this very profound thing about gender identity and whatnot, and so I think that was one of the messages. But it's interesting that we see in the little vignette that Scarlett Johansson's Kusanagi is sort of like gently caressing the bald characters.
It's not just like a friendly, like we're sitting around together. Like you could see,
how
like,
are
their
you
body
doing?
movements and stuff.
Yeah, like you could definitely tell that there was something more intimate going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's obviously a callback to that.
Yeah, well, one of the theories that people have always talked about with the series is that Kusanagi, while it is a female body, they're not, because that's what she grew up as. I'm referring to her as she because that's they refer to her as in the series, but she could have been a male, and it doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah,
that like it's just how she inhabits a body.
Right.
But overall, like I think the aesthetic's fine with all this stuff.
Yeah. Like I wasn't too disappointed or anything. I'm really curious to see what else they're going to show off next.
Yeah, these are all teasers too. This wasn't like a trailer.
Yeah, it's like I think Paramount has it on their Facebook where they kind of strung all of them together in like a 3-minute video or 2-minute video of all the 30-second teasers.
Yeah.
So go check that out. We'll have a rewind on IGN soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and let us know what you think about it, because it's very interesting. Very short tease, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, that's Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to catch up on all the other stuff so they can like have more context for this movie. Be good. So next, we're going to kind of get into why we have James on the show.
Yeah. Why are you on? Why are you here?
Because IGN sent me to Tokyo for some reason. No, they sent me because I've done the trip before, and it's Tokyo, and we did TGS.
Yeah, so we just got back from TGS. If you guys haven't checked out our coverage, please do. It's ign.com/events/TGS. We did a lot of cool stuff. We went to One Piece Cafe.
Yeah, not just game stuff. There's a lot of different culture stuff that we did.
Yeah, like if they sent me to make sure like we also did get that cultural stuff too, because we don't just want, well, here's the games at TGS. Like there's also a lot of other cool things. Like we said, went to the One Piece restaurant that was closing very soon, like at the end of this month, and I'm really glad we got to go to that.
Is it like a pop-up restaurant kind of thing, or it's temporary?
I think it was there for like on and off for 3 years. So some of them, but even then, it's still temporary. Like it wasn't planned to just, I think, be there always. Okay. I know they also have some One Piece cafes in Tokyo Tower right now too. But yeah, like a lot of them are very pop-up, like they're limited time menus and stuff. And we got there last their grand finale menu.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so it's really
That's
cute.
cool.
You can check out all the different, like, they had each themed drinks for a bunch of the characters, and again themed meals, and then like I had a ice cream thing or like a pastry that was shaped like the snail.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
gosh,
Those
that's
little telephone
awesome.
snails. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cute.
It was fun.
Yeah, and then today we had a Dragon Ball gallery go up. So we did a ton of shopping.
Yeah, a lot.
I dragged them around a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we saw tons of Dragon Ball stuff everywhere, and so we kind of just documented all the ones we saw.
Yeah.
We saw cards and old games and old statues.
Face
and,
masks. No, not face masks.
Like the eye masks? Yeah.
On the airport.
In the airport, yeah, like there's Dragon Ball stuff all the way up to the airport. And
Yeah.
like, we're like, okay, we gotta document all this cool stuff. It's just like such a popular series, and it's like super evident, like no matter where you go.
Yeah, we bought a bunch of stuff. You bought all these things before we.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're not watching the video, get to the video. I'm about to open a $150 Pikachu.
Yeah.
So, so like, one of the coolest things about going to Japan and going to like Akihabara is like going to the resale shops.
Yeah.
Because you'll find really rare figures and plushes and games merchandise. And so I have been looking for this Ditto Chew, which you need to, like I said, get to the video. Since 2013, it came out in 2010 at Pokemon Centers around Japan. And at that time, like that's the only places you could get them. There were very few. And I think it originally sold for like $12 or so.
Yeah.
And I bought it for $150. So
Yes. But when were you going to see it again?
I know,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
never. So I saw it and I was like, oh man, I can't justify
yeah,
this.
we went to Akihabara, and like this is in Mandrake, which is a line, I think a chain of resale stores. I think there's like
Yeah.
multiple ones, but it was on like the 6th level in like a cabinet behind some glass with a bunch of other classic like Godzilla toys and stuff like that. It wasn't like your typical like.
It's not where you
anime.
would expect to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we saw it and I was like, I already have like 2 Ditto Chew because they re-released some new ones, like, or they're not. There's not a re-release so much as more new designs of Ditto Chew, and I was like, I don't need it. It's like $150, and they go for like 200 plus on eBay, and I was like, I still don't need it. And then like posted about it on Twitter, and I got some people who was like, just Miranda, go buy it. And I was like,
There are like 4 of us in 4 seconds. We're
Yeah,
like, go
seriously.
turn around and go buy that.
yeah. So we went back the next day and I got it, and a lot of people were telling me to leave it in its box, but I'm a
needs to be
believer
free.
that this thing needs to.
It needs to be
It
cuddled.
needs to come out, yeah. So I'm keeping the box though, just because it's like a really cool box. Like there's like a bunch
wow.
of Ditto. It's really cute. Like it's like a field of Ditto, and there's a Pikachu being like, "What the heck is going on?" There's a Pikachu in the middle. So yeah, it's part of like a rainbow series, and it's just really really cute. James, what else did we find out there?
In Mandrake, we found Saber, which we'll talk about in a second. Going to those shops is so great because like I saw a bunch of stuff that I had wanted and it was just too expensive or a little bit out of my price range. Like there's Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
The
really?
statues,
How big was it?
They're about this big.
Oh, okay.
Like they're decent size, but they had an unpainted version as well, which I've actually never seen. Like you can get, it's just matte black, and I think you can
a variant?
paint. Yeah, it's a variant that you can like I guess either paint yourself or something. I'm not sure exactly why, but it was like they called it the uncolored version.
Yeah, there's a few like that. Like this. Well, there's another Haikyuu statue that is like a not colored. For instance.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. We went.
The baby's
Yeah.
my son.
He's so cute. It's so cute.
So expensive and so beautiful.
Let's see. We went to a bunch of game shops. Did the standard Super Potato trip, which is Super Potato
Yeah,
is the
Super Potato.
is the classic game store that resell of SNES, Saturn, like Italy, anything from that era you can think of. They may not have the rarest stuff because it is the like known shop now, so it's 1 very expensive and 2 pretty picked over.
Yeah.
And it depends on when you go during the year. Sometimes they get restocked.
Yeah, they change like all the time because people are constantly selling their stuff back to these shops. And like a nice thing that you get out of these too is that you're almost guaranteed that these are authentic items because these shops are buying these from people, and so they're not going to buy.
Yeah, bad versions of it.
Yeah.
Like, they're
So-
in good condition usually.
Yeah, so you have like that guarantee that you're getting something that's authentic and you're not going to get ripped off by buying it. And of course, you do want to shop around a little bit. I was actually looking for a Your Lie in April statue of Kaori, and for my boyfriend because he like loves her and he doesn't have any anime statues, and I'm trying to suck him into it. It's bad.
It's a gateway drug.
Yeah, it's just like
That's
once
dangerous.
you start buying like statues
yeah.
and stuff, you're going down a whole nother road.
Yeah.
And so I'm like trying, and then I saw her, there's a few statues have been released of her. They were like $300
Yeah.
plus.
Everything we saw,
Jeez.
everything we saw was either sold out or like really expensive.
Stupid expensive. Like
Wow.
I saw them for $500, and
What?
like those went for like 100 something or like 120 maybe.
100?
80.
Jeez.
Like yeah, like those got real expensive. So it's just like one of those also shopping around things. Like I only saw one of these Pikachus, like or Ditto Chew, so I had to get it. And then the other thing I was on. Well, I had like a very short shopping list of things that I was willing to buy because like, these things are expensive and they're hard to get back because you don't want to bend their boxes when you're coming home with them. Was Saber Alter version eating a burger.
Yeah.
we saw a lot of different Saber, but like this.
If you love Saber,
Yeah.
she's everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
it is not hard to find Saber stuff. But since this I think came out in like 2013 or something, it was a Fate Hollow figure, and I looked everywhere. I found like the other version of her Fate Hollow figure, and I was like, okay, they have to have the one of her eating a burger. Like it is by far my favorite anime girl statue to ever have existed.
Yeah.
Like
Shout
the best.
outs to Chris Kohler from Wired, who was with us that day and was like,
Yeah.
let us to the shop where we eventually. He was like, oh, I know a couple different shops that we could go over
Nice.
that you wanted to check out as well. But he was like, oh, here, like, we can go. Like you just pointing out stuff.
It's nice that you had like an expert on these
Yeah.
things to go with
Right.
you.
Yeah, so if you are going to look for figures that are like older or rare and you're trying to find them at resale shops, like our best, I guess, advice to you is like look at a ton of shops.
Yeah.
And get off of the main street too.
Yeah.
Like that's not the only one. Like there's so many other back alley areas.
And you
with
have to
really
like,
good stuff.
it's not going to be on the ground. Well, this one was actually on the ground floor of the one we went to. But a lot of the stuff you have to go up multiple things. Don't be like go in a group because it Akihabara is not sketchy, but it's not. You should be with other people.
Okay.
Drink lots of water.
And drink lots of water.
Seriously.
Was it hot over there?
Yeah,
it's-
It's
it-
hot and
crazy.
humid.
yeah, it was
It's
like
the
70
humidity.
to 80 most of the days we were there, and 100% humidity.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The humidity is crazy
yeah,
in Japan.
it felt like you were walking through
Like a
like
rainforest?
A wet blanket.
Yeah, and so that's why it's like bring like it's like survival tips for Akihabara. Like
Yeah.
bring water, bring like a little towel or napkin that you can like
Bring
put off
Advil.
your face for like for sweating and stuff. And maybe like an empty backpack or something where you can fill up so you're not carrying a ton of bags. I know it's just like really weird, but some of these things that you can find are like actually go for pretty cheap if they're not super rare, but they're like resell things. Like if
Yeah.
you're missing like a cool Nendroid or something, like you're gonna probably find it and you're probably
Yeah.
gonna get like a good price.
So I have a question. What is this? Because I've only seen a little bit of Fate's Day Night. What is the significance of Saber eating a hamburger?
So Saber has like multiple identities or multiple versions. The one I know best, and probably other people do too, is like the regular Saber. It's kind of hard going into this just because, okay, mild spoilers if you're into at all to the Fate series and Saber's identity. So regular Saber is the one you see in Fate Stay Night and like all of the stuff. So Saber Alter is in Fate Hollow and I think a few other series. And she's a different version of Saber when she was, I forget what smoke possession thing. Like it's a dark version of Saber, to put it very simply.
evil
Okay.
Saber.
It's like
Evil.
she's not evil,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
she's not the same like optimistic kind of person that she was though. And the way you can like easily identify her is that she doesn't have her little hair poking out. Like that's one of the things. It's weird. Like so she exists within Saber. And then there's also another Saber called Saber Lily, which is the Saber before Saber is king. If you know what I'm talking about. So
I'm trying to use my hands to keep track of all of this.
yeah, so, but this is Saber Alter, and her things that she really loves junk food. And so there's this statue of her eating a burger, which I'm very trying to carefully open with this tape on the sides because I don't want to mess up the box because I keep my boxes. And yeah, so I found her.
All right.
What else do we see? There's a game. We did Super Potato. There's also some other game shops we went to. The coolest thing I think I saw there, and this is me being a video nerd, is some really cool, basically analog to digital converters for old consoles.
Wow.
So that you can either capture old games without input delay, or you can play on a certain one and pump the signal somewhere else. That's just stuff that like you go into these different shops and like. In this area, they specialize in that stuff. You can buy 3DS capture kits. You can buy all these things that the people that are making there. Like, and that's why Akihabara is cool. Is there's just like there's these weird things where it's very specifically like, hey, we make this one specific thing is only useful, but we can afford to do it because people know to come here because this is where you get it.
So for the super tech savvy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah. So like, there's so many like really cool little things. There's like really cool PC shops.
Yeah.
Oh god, hold on. I'm trying to open this thing. I wish I probably should have done like a proper unboxing for this, but you know, whatever.
Whatever.
Anime Club.
This is exclusive to Anime Club.
Do
You
you
gotta-
want me to walk it up? So
Yeah, I'll have James walk up the statue when we get her open.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, this is like packed really well. Like I said, like if you're
Which
buying
is-
from
which is
retail,
good.
It's really good. Yeah. Anyway, so we didn't only find like anime stuff in Akihabara.
Yeah.
Like there's some places in Harajuku and Shibuya, and like, plenty of other places you can go to find stuff. But if you are looking for anime goods, definitely go.
Yeah, Akihabara is known for all that stuff.
do you want to talk about our
What about?
What?
Let's talk about the not so good.
the not so great thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I want all the
I'm so
dirt.
We're
glad
gonna
you guys
make
are-
Ferris Nyan a little bit sad here.
Um,
America support.
So
Her
so,
line of
so
work.
context. On this trip, especially because of the time change and everything, you just tend you don't eat weirdly, but like you eat at weird times or you eat smaller things because you're busy. And so we had been pretty busy that day getting out from we were staying in Makuhari, which is about 45 minutes outside of Akihabara by train. And then we'd been busy walking around, so we were pretty hungry because we hadn't
We
eaten.
were like dying.
Yeah, we had
Like,
a
it was
snack early in the day.
Headache, bad time.
Ugh,
jeez.
no.
And so we're like, hey, so we're trying to do culture stuff and cool things for IGN.
Mm.
Let's go to Maid Cafe.
Yeah, because
Yeah, why not? Yeah, like I figured like it's pretty much like a regular restaurant, right? Like
Yeah.
except there's an entry fee. Like
Mhm.
per hour we have to pay. I think the one we went to was $5.
Yep.
Per hour?
Yeah, per hour. So you have to buy.
Is it
something
on
like
top
every
of
hour.
buying
Yes.
food? Okay.
So you have to pay an entry fee. That we saw that like pretty much every cafe
Yeah.
we saw.
and there's women handing out flyers, like they're in the uniform style that you will go into the maid cafe, and like they're wearing that, and so you can kind of make judgments on where you want to go based on that.
Yes, it's like, well, I like this outfit or I like
Yeah.
this theme. So then you kind of decide where you want to go. We went to My Dreamin', I think, MAI Dreamin'. And it is one of the bigger chains that I saw.
Mhm.
It's like one of the first ones you'll see after you get out of the station at Akihabara. And
Yeah.
like you'll see them everywhere. And we were kind of like, it's kind of weird, like shopping around for which main cafe we wanted to go to. So a lot of places will have like posters with the food they have
Mhm.
and like advertising like, hey, this is how much you can expect for food. This is our entry fee. And here's like the maids we'll have. And we're like, okay. So eventually we just kind of settled on My Dreaming because like there's a lot of them and we were just really hungry.
We were really
At that
hungry.
point, you're just like
We were
anything.
very tired.
Yeah.
And we also settled because there's this girl and she was like advertising and like I guess the area she was by there's like music playing so she was dancing, she's like really into it.
The most of them are just like handing the flyers. Like she was like talking to people as they're walking by,
She
and
was
like
enthusiastic. Like,
Yeah.
I want to support this girl.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, we'll go. And then she kind of talked to us, and she could speak English, so she kind of asked where we
Nice.
were from and stuff.
Mhm.
And so she's like, do you guys want to go? And we're like,
sure.
yeah. And like, keep in mind, like at this point, like we're really tired and
Yeah.
hungry, and like we were like headache mode. And so like this girl, she's like, every maid we talked to was like super high pitched,
Like crazily high pitched voice.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, like obviously
Like,
they're putting on, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but like to ridiculous octaves, and I was like, okay, maybe guys like take down just a little bit, like a little bit. Like it was cute, but at the same time, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And so we went up in this like
Dingy elevator.
very dingy
The
elevator.
smell.
Wait a second. Bait and switch. What happened?
That smelled like people had been smoking in it. Like,
Yeah, so Japan has a lot of places where you're still restaurants where you're allowed to smoke in.
Yeah.
And maid cafes are one of those places. And thankfully there weren't many people smoking when we went.
No.
So we follow her up this elevator. Like in the poster signs and stuff that she was holding, it says like that there is a $5 entry fee per hour.
Yeah.
And that food started I think at $5 and drinks started at $4. Like a estimate, like it's like 500 yen and 400 yen. And so we went in, they sat us down, like, hey, please don't take any pictures of the maids,
Yeah.
like none of the hostess, like don't do that.
you can take
And
pictures
then-
of the food and
of the food, yeah. They kind of like laid down the rules when we got in, and the restaurant itself wasn't that cute. Like it was
No,
pretty
it's-
old.
Oh.
And
It's
it was like okay,
Oh, no.
It's like you take this room and maybe double the size and
Really?
like it.
well, a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger. And there's like a
Three or
bar
four
and like and some tables and like this little stage in the corner that's probably a foot off the ground
Yeah.
and like is made of just like vinyl, but it's all scuffed up and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like,
Yeah.
And when I mean dingy, you're just like, oh, this kind of seems like someone's like grandma's like basement.
Like this was
Weird.
cute.
Even though it was on, like, a
this was
second
cute at
floor.
one point.
Yeah.
And
This
then,
used to be
it's
cute.
not. It's not. It's
Yeah.
like it needs a little love. The maid outfits were really cute. Like all the girls were really, really nice. They knew that we were from the U.S. and that we spoke English, so that like we had a person who could speak English to us. And of course,
cool.
they're like, "Oh, you're from the U.S. Oh, I love Disney and stuff." And like they're kind of like trying to relate with certain things. They're like, "I love Hannah Montana," was one girl. Said.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Ooh, does she know? If she only she knew what happened to Miley Cyrus.
And so
they're a little late on the.
At this point, we're getting in, and Brian Malkowitz, another producer here at IGN, was with us, and we sit us down, and we're like, okay, we want to order food, and they're like, okay, you have to order off this menu, and we're like, wait,
Their most popular menu.
their most
and I wonder
popular
why.
menu, and so there's two separate menus. There's one that is it's a set.
Like everything is set based. So the cheapest set was $20, and came with a parfait.
Yeah. An ice cream parfait that had like fruit, cornflakes,
And like 2 scoops of ice cream, like small scoops too. It's not like a huge thing. A drink.
which is a small drink, which is like that big.
Yeah.
Of iced
no
tea.
free refills. Of course.
Oh man.
And beer costed additional on top of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
and then you get a photo with one of the maids,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get a commemorative item.
Yeah, which I brought.
A commemorative item.
Which is so there were 3. There were
You could get
A bunny
clear-
ear? Yeah.
You could get an animal ear headband that was obviously very cheap. Like,
Yeah.
super cheap.
Okay, yeah.
You can get one of those that had like a bunny and bear, and I think another bunny.
Yeah.
And then they had My Dream In like maid outfit as a keychain,
Yeah,
which
which-
James has.
But yeah,
Bring it to the
you walk
camera.
that up to the camera.
And then you could also get a clear file with some maids on it.
That's right. For $20, you could go
For
to
$20
McDonald's, get a McFlurry, a hamburger, large fries, and a Happy Meal for like $3.
Like a good meal.
And this is not,
Yeah.
this is not $20. This is per person.
This is per person, yeah. In addition to the $5 you already paid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
that
so now
too.
you're technically
Oh.
paying $25.
If you want food, you're at least looking at $35. And then the top tier one was either like $45 or $50.
Yeah, and it came with
that
a
included,
performance.
that had food, and that included performance.
For what kind of performance?
We don't know.
Some dance thing.
Dance song,
Like,
I
on
don't
the
know.
picture, it was like really funny. On the picture, on the menu, they had like the maids on the stage like with their microphones, and there's like a bunch of people with like glow sticks in the dark, and it's like, what the heck?
It's
Yeah.
not like a stripper pole or anything, is there? I mean, if
No.
you're going to pay $35, I'm just saying.
And so it was just like this weird thing, and it wouldn't have felt like so much of a scam if we had been aware of this going in.
Yeah.
Because like the way they advertised was not that at all. Like we knew about the entry fee, which is fine, and I know we're kind of paying for like that service of like these girls being extra cute and being extra friendly, and like whenever they came over, like we had to light a dream candle and
They would,
Light
they,
a
and they would
dream candle.
We were like,
we had to
"Yeah,
go
I
like
guess,
this long.
Okay.
And,
and this is especially like I didn't make me uncomfortable that like it was happening. It was just we were tired, and it was way more energy than I was like willing to like put out.
after
Yeah.
this thing, and like considering like how the food portions didn't look like they were very big.
Yeah, and we were hungry, like, and we were like hungry.
You wanted
And-
like food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like there was this other like additional menu, and I asked if I could order from them. They're like, oh no, just this one. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And so it was just very weird experience. And I've heard that like there have been some bad things that happen at main cafes, like they're a little bit pushier for things.
Yeah, it feels weird that they're like, here, do this expensive menu, and you're like,
Yeah.
what? I just
Yeah,
want
it's,
to.
that's not what you were advertising outside.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of happy we went, but I would never go again. Like
Yep.
hands down, I would never want to go back to a main cafe just because like I understand like that you're supporting like more of a not so much as like a meal as much as an experience.
Yeah.
And like the girls were all very nice and they did a good job at like being cute. It was really funny watching the guys do like the cute stuff. We
There's
did, like, a little
there's a I think the article will be going up
Do we
soon.
have a video
If we
of
do,
this?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's no video because we don't. But we
But
have some
have
pics.
photos.
We have photos.
which
Okay.
I will embed in the Anime Club article. So if you guys
Yeah.
don't usually check it out,
Cool.
please do. We have a picture with our maid.
I'm
Yeah.
sad that those pictures are going to be online, but it's also worth
But you're taking
documenting.
one for the team, so good job.
Yeah, and so like
Well,
it just all in all, it's just a really weird experience, and like just know what you're getting into beforehand. I've heard that some places kind of try to rip you off a little bit, so be careful with when you go to like my
I would
if you're going for
bring
the
cash.
experience.
Bring cash.
Yeah, bring cash.
Don't use a card.
Yeah. Yeah, like at one point they tried to like give us this other menu of like services. I know, like it's like, do you want to do the pay for the dance? I'm like, no, I don't want it. Like it's okay, thank
Yeah.
you. And like just like kind of those kind of like additional things they kept trying to sell. and I've heard that other people like they paid like $10 for like their maid to put a cute spell on their like drink or something, and so there's just like a lot of additional things they try to push.
It's an expensive spell.
Yeah, right. So it's just a very different experience, and as long as you know what you're going into, then it's okay. But just don't expect like an amazing meal in addition to like that surrounding. It's not like a typical cafe. It's like you're paying for the performance and some treats to go with it, essentially.
So I'm going to bring it back around to positive, because after we left that place, we went to the best restaurant in Tokyo.
Ooh, which is
not some place you'd expect it. This place called Harajuku Gyoza-lu, which is just off the main strip in Harajuku, that only serves gyoza. And if you're in Tokyo, you have to go there. There's usually a line. Doesn't take that long because they get you in and out. It is seriously our favorite meal there.
Yeah, we went twice.
Yeah, we went twice.
The first time I ate there, I like almost started crying.
Yeah.
So it's seriously the best.
It's
wow.
ever.
It's a very small restaurant. Like you either sit at the bar and they're like cooking in the middle of the bar. You can either get pan fried or I think it's broiled gyoza, and it's perfect.
Is that Onomotesando? Is that where? Because I used to live in Japan. I don't remember this restaurant.
It's kind of like behind Kittyland, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like an alley behind Kittyland.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it sounds amazing, though.
Go there.
Oh, yeah.
I love gyoza.
Just go tell them we sent you. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Have them ship gyoza.
Yeah, and
over.
Seriously,
it's cheap. It's
freaking amazing.
It's good. Especially on like during like hot type, like the beer is cold. The gyoza is like perfect. And then the other thing you order is the cucumbers with miso sauce, which is just
cucumbers with miso is so good.
Perfect.
So absolutely go there. And before I kind of like wrap this up, let's talk about TGS.
Yeah.
That's right.
The thing that we are ostensibly there for. Also, hold on. Do you want me to walk Saber up?
Saber's just not completely unwrapped, but get a look at this amazing Saber statue. So the reason we were there, of course, was for TGS. Like I said, check out that coverage. Best parts of that was definitely the VR. TGS kind of gets smaller and smaller every year, and we had a lot of stuff that was
It used to be so big way back in the day, and now it's like...
It's still big, but not in... It's big because a lot of people go, and not because there's a lot of things there.
Yeah. By far my favorite thing that we do when we go there, though, is like the dating sim stuff. Because like, there's a huge booth for that. So last year I got double kabedonned, which is
I remember that.
There's a photo.
I remember those
On
pictures.
Instagram. And if you actually check out, I did a piece on romance and VR. So please check that out. It's like my favorite thing we did the entire trip. And I got to do these weird experiences where like at one point I was in VR elevator sitting in a chair, and this guy came up and was like, it's called Suwadon, so he like puts his hand, like pins you to the chair kind of thing. It gets
the wall slam?
Yeah, except it's on the chair. And so he's like
Suwadon.
super close, and I was like, oh my god.
You gonna do it to me?
Okay. Okay.
Like this.
Yeah, so it's just like,
So instead of kabedon, like wall, it's like...
It's just like on the chair, yeah. And so
It's
I was just
whoa,
like, oh
James.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then I played the PlayStation VR Summer Lesson. It was real weird.
She gets like super close into your face.
Yeah.
Is that the one where she like goes in the room and is like, why are you in my room?
Yeah.
Oda Nobunaga patted my head.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because that's exactly what he would do.
I felt very special.
Okay, so why did Nobunaga pat you on the head?
It's just a romance thing.
Because everyone wants to romance Nobunaga. Like, he's just
I'm not
everybody's
saying...
husbando. Everyone's.
He's the original bad boy.
That's true. There is some truth to that, but I've also say that I didn't expect to hear that sentence.
Yeah. So there's this. So they have that dating sim area, and that was one of the things. I guess one of their properties right now is the Warring States period stuff. So
Talk about the bathtub.
That's for last.
What?
I said
yeah.
so. Our other producer Brian Malkowitz found this on the show floor. You can go sit in an inflatable.
It's like a little kiddie pool. Yeah, it's like a little kiddie pool.
And sit with an anime version of I think Augustus in a tub. But it's like a girl.
And you're wearing it's in VR.
It's in like I think it's like a Roman spa. It's like it's supposed to be an onsen, but it's like not Japanese.
Like
but
Roman themed?
Yeah, it's like you look up and there's like columns
grand.
everywhere and like
so it was
golden,
part of a promotion for this game called Puzzle of Empires in Japan, and they have like of course anime girl versions of all these historical figures. And to promote that, they had you sit in VR with one of their characters in the tub. That's all you did.
That's all.
She's just in the tub and you're with her.
And it's like a female version of Caesar Augustus, or
yeah. So she's like, she's very cute.
And she sits there and blinks at you and
talks to you a little bit. So so I got please check out the video. Like they had video.
Really funny. We should put up just like the raw footage of that.
I waited in line, and we noticed that there's an Easter egg, so you can move around because you're in VR. It's just like with a Vive.
And so you're like
it tracks your head movement and stuff, so you can like look around, look behind you, like a very beautiful sky. In the
you can
room.
clip through her.
You can clip through her. You can also look underwater and look between your legs.
Which any lewd parts are blocked.
She is wearing a towel.
Yeah.
So she's in the tub with you, but she's wearing a towel. And I noticed there's an Easter egg, and I was like, nobody was actually getting a good view of it, so I was like, I'm gonna show y'all how it's done.
Show how an American does this.
I went underwater and looked in between her legs. It's just the right angle. Like, you don't actually get between her legs. It's like to the right of her legs. It's like between her thighs. And there's a little chibi version of her holding a sign promoting the game on the App Store. And so it's like, it's out now. And it was just like, what the
and then the moment that you came back up and like she was like, what the hell?
What were you doing?
Oh, really?
I was like, I am so sorry.
You can see Miranda's like full on like apologizing. You can see her in the video just going like, oh.
I felt so bad. It's so weird because this is VR and it's not real. Like even with like Nobunaga or like the guy in the elevator, these things you it's just you have a screen close to your face, but those things are just so immersive that you get really sucked into what's happening. And like even though they're fake, like you still feel obligated because they feel close to you.
Yeah.
And so it's just a very weird time.
Miranda doing that investigative journalism.
Yeah, it's for IGN.
For news.
Speaking of other immersive things,
before you start with that, I have to go.
Oh, okay. Bye.
But tell me more later.
All right. Yeah. Immersive things we have like a little like work area at the convention that's like above the show floor, and right below it was this experience. It wasn't a game. I think it was promoting something, but it wasn't a game. Where you go sit in a fake office. And you are working in this fake office, and then your boss comes out.
It's like for a promotion for an Otome game. They have these every year. This is how I got double Kabedon last year by two very handsome Japanese men.
Yes.
Yep. And so this is a dating sim for an office romance.
Yeah.
And so they have this fake, like he's saying, you have this fake office set up, and you wait in line. Like there's always so many women in line for this, and this guy comes out, like you're supposed to be pretending like you're showing him something on his computer. Like I didn't do it because it was like a little too uncomfortable for me. Like it was a little too close.
They put their face very close to your ear.
It's a very big role playing thing.
Yeah,
like it's like a 5-minute thing for each person.
Well, it's just like, but this is a VR thing, right?
No,
this is a real man coming out. That's why I couldn't do it. I was like, okay, like the Kabedon thing was like a picture, like it was really quick, and they were like really polite and nice, and it was fun, and I was super embarrassed, but it was cool. This one was. You're sitting at a computer, like you're pretending to type or something, and this guy comes out and he's like, "Oh, let me show you this thing." And so eventually he comes around. Here, Megan, I'm gonna do it to you.
Okay. So I'm just typing away.
Yeah, and so then he like swoops around the chair and swivels, and then was like
way closer than that. Like where he's like this far from your face.
And then he like whispers in your ear and stuff, and like the girls I always saw him do it.
We're just like
crazy blushing.
Yeah.
And so we were gonna do that for the video, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It was
James, why didn't you take one for the team?
They didn't allow males to do it.
They did not let men in the line.
Yeah.
So
it would have been really funny, but they didn't allow it.
There's always those kind of like things at TGS, which is fun. Like, and there's other things, like there's this promotional thing I saw where guys went up and like there's this girl sitting in the chair and she had like a QR code on her thigh and you took a photo of it. It's a very weird thing.
All right, sexual harassment, the virtual reality game, or not even virtual reality. I don't know what it was. Simulation? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Other
games for 2016.
There was the Berserk game.
So let's talk about the games. There were some cool anime games, not as much as last year. Like last year was cool because they had like this new Steins Gate game on the show floor, but they did not have that this year because it's already out. in Japan. But they did have Berserk, which we do have gameplay of. I unfortunately didn't get to play. You didn't even get to play. Malkwitz got to play.
Yeah, he's not
Okay,
here.
well, this is the Muso type game, right? What did he think of it?
It looks like one of those games.
Okay,
And,
it looks and sounds like one of those games. I've seen footage of it. So
yeah, I heard it plays pretty heavy because, like, the swords is like a lot of
he's got this massive, broad, two-handed sword. So I assume he can't just.
I mean, it's still fast like those games, but it's still like you're committing to it. It's like a Dark Souls. You're committing to an animation,
right?
And I think if you like those games, you'll probably like it. But a lot of our commenters and a lot of people who are seeing that footage were like, "Well, that's not what we really want." Like from a Berserk game.
I'm sort of divided on it because the latest season just ended, and there's something very appropriate about it being one of those types of games. I mean, that's what Guts does. He slaughters multiple people at once. He's like the 100-man killer. But at the same time, I wouldn't say it's a cop-out, but it's a very easy solution.
You would want something more involved, I would think.
Yeah.
But you would want something that is a character action game that's not...
it's a very character-driven story, so you'd probably want
think like God of War versus like the type of just like walk through hordes of dudes where you can still have a lot of people on screen, but like
right.
Yeah,
I love God of War, so that would have made me happy.
Yeah. But I thought it was like cool. I think it like nails the aesthetic really well. Other than that, I think they toned down the blood by a lot though because they wanted to get a.
It's a pretty gory series that might be for the best. I'm hoping they toned other things down too, but
I guess we will see how that goes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other anime games that we saw.
I saw this isn't quite anime, but it's just a weird game that will, I guess, never come over here. So I played a game about a train pass spirit that wants to become a goddess, and you have to help her by teaching her words. Yeah.
And then you can tap and you go to different stations, and you tap your Suica, which is basically like the train card that you use in Japan, on, and it like uses the NFC reader to like read where you went, and then you unlock stuff. I think it was.
Yeah, it's
so
really
it's
weird.
sort of educational, like or no?
No.
I don't know.
Like Tamagotchi meets.
Yeah, it's like your train pass wants to become a goddess, and you have to help her by loving her and teaching her things.
Well, of course you do.
Yeah, so that's also the thing I previewed for IGN. What else would we do? There wasn't, like I said, this year there was.
You didn't see any typing games or anything like that? They sometimes have really cool typing games out of Japan.
Oh. It's not anime at all. Res Infinite.
Oh yeah, well we did get to play that.
Yeah. Res is they describe it as synesthesia, which is you're seeing color and sound. And this is the original Res came out like a long time ago. I forget when, like probably 2000, I think around that era. And it was on Rails, and so the new thing that they were going on was Res Infinite Area X, which is a completely brand new area. It's being remade for like the rest of the game's being remade and like up res to like 4K textures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is a completely new area that is not on Rails because the rest of the game is on Rails, and so you can either do it in PSVR, or you can we also just played it on a TV, and that is something else where I was like, oh yeah, VR is.
It's like one of those experiences that you'd want to play for VR.
Yeah, and it's not. Really cool. And it's not even an experience. I think it is. It's not a full game. Like,
it is a game.
Yeah, it is a game, but it's like, it's something that it's like, oh, this is something made for VR, and what works better in VR because you're so immersed and you're flying through the space and you're locking on all these targets, and there's just a billion particles flying everywhere, and like the music is in like 7.1 and is like wrapping around your head in this crazy way. It was amazing.
That sounds really cool.
Last VR thing that does relate to anime. So I got to play, I think it was like Hop Sing Step or something. I forget what it's called. Music idols in VR. And it was just the weirdest cool thing. So I played on the HTC Vive, which is like my favorite of the VR devices, because you get to move around a lot. And so it's like these three girls. I guess they were just made for this game, and they're just putting on a concert, and you're there. It's like there's a Miku one for PSVR, but I didn't get to play that one. But I got to play this one, and it was really cool because I was just like, it's like so immersive that like I wanted to dance. I was just like, I'm like
That's
right there with
cute.
them. Yeah, like, and I was like, but I don't want to dance because I'm like standing in front of a bunch of people.
You should have done it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was so cool.
what does it matter?
Yeah, like so the controllers are your like glow sticks, so you can just like
Oh, you
dance
can do your glow stick
yeah,
thing.
and
with
you can
the
like change
audience.
the colors, and then at one point they start glowing. And like I think this is something I really hope we get with like Love Live or something. And we have like, these
yeah.
idol projects in VR because like it's so immersive and cool. So like you're like on stage with your favorite idols.
Well, there you go.
I want to put them
I'm
in
sure that's
space.
coming our way.
Yeah,
I can't
so,
imagine it's not.
TGS guys.
Yeah, good job, TGS.
Yeah.
Also about snacks.
yeah,
Best thing about Tokyo by far is food.
I love that Umaru is on the Kit Kats.
Yep, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I think that kind of wraps it up. We have a bunch of rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys have any questions, of course, tweet to us.
Yeah.
And we'll happily talk about
Yep.
those adventures. I think, please let me know if you guys want this,
Yeah.
but I bought a ton of anime stuff while I was gone and like a bunch of gifts. If you guys want like a haul video for our YouTube channel, I'd be happy to do one, but I want to gauge interest on
Yeah.
that before like I have to lug all my stuff to the office.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
No, now I gotta see it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like
so-
a treasure trove.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments and on Twitter, and you can also email us at IGN_animeclub at IGN.com, and you can talk to us on our Facebook group, which is amazing, at facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club, and then it's called the IGN Anime Club official group.
I took a bunch of photos. I rented another nerd camera thing. I rented a very nice camera called the Leica Q, which is very expensive, but it takes amazing photos. And I may post those in the group because there's just some really cool photos that I think that are worth sharing. Just in terms of like, it's not about anime, but about if you're interested in Tokyo and architecture and just how cool that city can be and to be in. I'll post a couple of those in there.
Please do.
Cool. So check out the group.
Yeah.
And then now that leads us into our watch party.
Watch
Yay.
party.
Yes, so if you have never joined us for the watch party before, every week we watch 2 episodes of a show. Right now we're watching Psychopaths. That was chosen by you guys, and now we're talking about it.
Yep.
And it's getting intense.
Getting
Yeah.
intense. It is. We can kick it off with episode 9, and I can't tell. Let's see. I guess we can start with Neto del Toro, who always has really interesting comments. He always writes in, so thank you for that. And he says, we are introduced to my favorite character in the whole show, Mr. Joji Saiga. He embodies everything the Sybil system has been trying to erase, and he proves it just by doing a quick analysis of Akane. The kind of insight that is most precious to any investigator is precisely what turned Saiga-sensei into a reluctant hermit because, as he himself put it, he's grateful for the chance to teach someone again. Plus, he's always drinking coffee, so MVP right there.
Coffee is good.
Coffee is very good. In fact, James looks like he has a mug of it right now.
Tea.
Oh.
Tea. I had to wean myself back off coffee. But anyway.
So, yes, we also have another comment from Australia's Card, who says, Mr. Saiga reminds me a lot of the Mentalist when he was profiling Akane. Add that confident expression, frugal nature, and rebellion against the current society, and you should have had Simon Baker voice the character to seal the deal.
That's really funny.
Speaking further on Mr. Saiga, his home seems to be based on Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, a prime example of organic architecture where humanity and the environment are in harmony together. Such a home, along with his rejection of holographic technology and other futuristic devices common in the city, reflects Mr. Saiga's desire to stay in touch with the earth and rejection of the current world order.
That's a fan after my own heart. I love me some Frank Lloyd Wright. I have Falling Water on my desk at work, the Lego version.
Oh, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. I'll have to look at your
Yeah.
desk.
Yeah, I know. Now we're going
yeah.
after this.
Yes, it's super awesome. Speaking of humanity and nature being in harmony, this just reminded me of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's Discourse on Inequality, which was mentioned in episode 5. This literature criticizes civil society for forcing humanity to develop reason, create false fronts in search of social acceptance, and lose their natural pity, thus straying away from the reasonless, gentle natural man. This literature also mentioned that the natural man cannot perceive the end of his life. Thus, he does not fear death. Fear of death, therefore, indicates a departure from that state of nature. It's getting deep.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is a
This is
good breakdown.
Yeah, it's a really good breakdown. Perhaps that is another reason for why Mr. Saiga seeks to live away from the city and why the cyborg hunter Senguji is so cold. One wishes to accept death, while the other rejects it, thus losing all natural pity for those he kills. And also, Akane wasn't afraid to speak her mind in previous episodes, but way to go. Stand up for yourself and establish your place in the MWPSB.
I love watching Akane's growth, and this is like such an important point in it too. When she finally goes and talks to him and like learns about like real investigation. He's just such, Saiga's like so cool. He's
Yes.
like a very good character. Like just because like everyone's so like imbued in this world, and he's just like, nah.
Yeah, he
I'm
is.
out here.
But there's so much to dissect with this. You know, like there's certain things that people are picking up that I didn't even notice. I was like, oh man, I didn't even pick up the whole Frank Lloyd Wright thing.
Yeah.
Oops. That's so good.
I'm going to refrain from commenting just why I'm being quiet. It's because I finished the show a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I understand the nature of the show, and it kind of, it's hard to talk about without.
No, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a problem. It's like, you know what's gonna happen kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so like, while episode 9 is like pretty important for growth and for like
Yeah.
a new character who is very important to the show, especially for Akane, episode 10 is the one that's like, the one I really want to talk about.
Okay, well let's just move on. So basic summary of that is Akane gets an email from her friend Yuki. She says she wants to talk to Akane about MWPBSB. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Case in person and specifies a time and place to meet. Unable to contact Yuki after that, Akane enlists Kogami's help in investigating what happened to Yuki.
Good idea.
Yes.
A very good idea. It's also like, oh, maybe we should call back up. Nah, it's like, this is obviously a trap, but we're just going to go in by
We're gonna
ourselves
do it.
anyway.
It's fine. What could go wrong?
Yeah. So Tyler DeBoer says, Akane receives a message from her friend that afterwards isn't contactable. Kagami goes with her to the enclosed location in case it's a trap, obviously. As Kagami investigates, interference makes him lose Akane's oversight. Kagami gets whisked off a train and finds Akane's friend inside captured. Kagami easily figures out the trap laid for him, and with the train stopping, it's him and Yuki as the hunt begins.
Dun,
Like,
dun,
this is,
dun.
yeah, like the cool one because like there's this guy hunting them down in his weird labyrinth of death traps.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's so disgusting to think that he just hunts people.
Yeah.
With these crazy dogs.
Yeah,
Man is
just-
the deadliest game.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, with this episode is a reference to. It's like the classic story. But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Megan Murphy says, now it's the cyborg huntress Senguchi going after the wolf. However, just as Rikako predicted before her death, Makishima is starting to toy and test Senguchi. The episode is titled
Methuselah.
Methuselah's Game. Thank you. In reference to Methuselah, who, from the Old Testament biblical literature, is a man said to have lived until the age of 969 years old, dying 7 days before the great flood that God used to reset the earth. What could this title allude to? All of Makishima's little puppets before now held Makishima in reverence as if relevance doesn't make sense. Reverence as if he were a higher power over them, metaphorically a god who sees all, considering his ability to easily hack the system and his sovereign hand in using evil to reset the world. Continuing this metaphor, Senguchi would be Methuselah, an old man of many years and of wisdom, being tested and punished by God before God decides on a reset or not. Makishima seems easily bored of his puppets. Who knows how long Senguchi will last? Being parallel to Methuselah could mean, regardless his age, Senguchi's life is fated to end. Life too is fated to end. But yeah, yes,
That's deep. That's deep stuff.
Really good picking apart those things. I almost always forget to read the titles of episodes.
I do
and
too.
Sometimes I actually just try not to because some of them get a little too like hinty at what's going to happen.
But sometimes, I mean, if they do it smartly, you can, like, it can be, like, a false flag or, like,
Yeah.
just misleading in the right way where it's just, like, you think it's going to happen. And it's like, nope, just kidding. It actually meant it about another character.
I do like the ones though that are vague, and you're like, I don't know what this is supposed to mean, and then you get to the end of the episode, and like,
Yeah.
that's how it ties in.
Yeah, so like ReZero was really good about that too, and that they would flash the episode title at the very end of the episode too, and be like,
And it's usually
Clean
after,
this
like,
up.
usually after a point where you're like, here's the thing, here's the episode title, then you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's always interesting that we kind of keep bringing up this thing of like Makishima be kind of like this godlike character who has all these puppets, and we've seen a few of them already.
Right.
And it's just kind of interesting to see the other ones he picks up along the way too. And this is definitely one of my favorites because he doesn't seem like he'd be a good candidate for papacy like at this point, because he just is like a very wealthy, knowing man, and to be played like this is interesting.
Yes. It is.
But
What's
I kind of forget. where this episode ends because I also watched 11 and I forgot how it ends. So I'm trying not to spoil what happens next because what's next is like really good.
Yeah.
It's like so important.
Yeah. But I love that this show gets consistently better and consistently deeper.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to look into, and I love that you guys are writing in and picking up these things and are dissecting them in these brilliant ways. Where I'm like, wow.
I think this, and we were talking about Ghost in the Shell earlier, are a reflection of shows that have picked up on, that are very much rooted in Japanese culture, but also picked up on Western stuff in terms of making references to things that are outside of Japanese culture, like Methuselah and all those things, and bringing in all that mythology and everything.
The entirety of Berserk.
The entirety of Berserk, yeah.
The entirety of it.
But specifically for me, like I'm a huge cyberpunk fan, and this world is so well realized and so and that they're focusing on the outliers of this world, but after establishing all of it and why that's interesting and all these characters that have to live within it. I think it's just
right.
it's
and it's this whole through line, this commentary, right, on humanity and humanity's flaws, and every time we try to fix those flaws, it just seems to make it worse for people. Like constantly fighting our nature and trying to control our nature, and like trying to find like peace and like whether or not control is a good thing, like absolute control over a country in like this weird mental way too.
Yeah, the things that you give up on a personal level when there is total control, when you like give yourself to that, and then. But we're seeing, the results of, is this just not futile? Is this just not somehow weirdly making it worse? Yeah. You've got this complete psychopath who thinks he's a god. He's using people as puppets, and it's like, we didn't really fix the problem, did we here?
Yeah. I'm just like really excited to get to the end because the reveals for all of this is so good.
It's fantastic. So
get ready for the next episodes, 11 and 12.
Yes.
And you guys can always write into us on our Facebook group or our email, which again is IGN_anime club at IGN.com. And the Facebook group again is facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club.
Yes.
So look forward to hearing from you guys. And I hope you're enjoying the show so far.
Yes. I am certainly enjoying it. Yeah. I'm really glad that everyone chose it because I got like 6 or 7 episodes in, dropped it for some reason. I think I just didn't have time. And I'm like, yes, now I can finally figure out what happens.
Yeah, this is one of those shows, like you guys were talking about last week, that I like to rewatch. So,
yes.
It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
So thank you guys for joining us this episode. We will be back next week to talk about, like I said before, our favorite shows from this season and what we're looking forward to next season. Do you guys have anything you're working on that you have to promote before we go?
My stuff is a couple weeks out. I don't think I can talk about right now.
Okay.
Not at the moment, but hopefully things will pick up in the next couple of weeks. What about you, Miranda?
I had that Dragon Ball gallery go up. Like I just said, just check out all our TJ stuff. We really, 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 really hope you promote our anime stuff. Like supporting that is so important to us and allows us to do more anime content on IGN. So please check all that out and let me know if you guys want us to do a haul video for all the anime stuff I bought.
No, you really want that haul video. Like, trust me.
It's a lot of stuff. But yeah, and I think maybe here soon we'll be trying to do some cool Let's Plays for our YouTube channel. The new Psycho Pass game came out recently.
Yes.
And there's a ton of anime games coming up soon. Like they have this Sword Online game. There's a new Dragon Ball coming out. And at TGS there's a new Dragon Ball game announced for 3DS.
Fusions.
And then also the new Digimon game was announced.
Oh shoot! Yes, I do have guests coming in to record a game with an anime crossover. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but that is actually, we're recording tomorrow, so that should be up on our YouTube channel next week. There was something I had to promote. I just couldn't remember what it was.
I couldn't remember all the anime games. So tons of stuff coming up. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/anime club. The easiest thing ever. Subscribe. Come to our party later this month. Buy tickets. Let us know when you come.
Yes. What is it? October 15th? I think.
12th?
12th, 15th?
Check out the site earlier.
Yes.
We'll link to it in the article, like I said. And also check out the article for that picture of us in the meat cafe.
Yes. I cannot wait to see it.
Multiple ones, because there's the bear one.
I want to see the raw footage one, though.
Okay.
I think I have it backed up. We'll pull it up.
The tub?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to see.
Yeah, no, I have it
Caesar
backed up.
Augustus.
Anyway.
All right. Anyway, where can we
Thank you guys for joining us.
James, did you say where people could find you?
James_Faulkner. I'll be posting more photos from TGS there. But yeah, and I'll also talk about random anime stuff probably occasionally. Sometimes.
Yay, random anime stuff. You can also check me out at MEGHAN_IGN.
And you can find me at Havoc Gross, and that's Havoc with a K on Twitter and pretty much everywhere else. And that was episode 65 of IGN Anime Club. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Yay, anime!
Bye!